I was doing a little research on like being human, and I was thinking about what does it mean, right? It's kind of like big, because there's a lot of things we do that animals do too, and like puberty, I did not realize, I knew that there were baby animals and big animals, but I didn't really get that some animals actually go through something that you would consider to be puberty. Lions and gazelles and finches have these awkward periods where their bodies are going through these really weird things and they look different from being a baby or a grown-up, or they have really crazy mood swings and have really high-risk behaviors, or they have serious disintegrations of their social circles, just like us. But the one difference from being human is that human parents can choose to send their prepubescent ball of hormones to summer camp, which is what my parents did for me. In 5th grade, I went to Camp Walaka, which is a Girl Scout camp about 5 miles from my house, but it might as well have been on the other side of the world in terms of how much it related to my life experience up to that point. I was the kind of Girl Scout who wanted to sell cookies and go to jamborees and sing songs and make handcrafts. I was not the Girl Scout that wanted to sit in a tent in the stinky woods covered in bug spray for 2 weeks. I wanted to spend my summer in my rancher with my parents, with the wall-to-wall carpeting, the air conditioning, and watching the Solid Gold dancers every night. This was not happening. It sucked so bad. I mean, I think you guys understand this. And anyone who knows me a little bit knows how bad this would have sucked. I mean, even now. The camp decided they were going to put the 5th graders, 6th graders, and 7th graders all together, which it was basically like a before and after kind of group. You'd have the kind of slightly pudgy 5th graders. We were all little and hopeful. And then we had the 7th graders who were all quite a bit taller, leaner, curvier in different ways. And just they all had this kind of world weariness. Yeah, I know, I've been through it, and you're never going to understand, little 5th grader. And it was really pretty brutal. I went there with my good friend, April, and we were in a tent with these 2 other girls, Michelle, who was really bubbly and became friends with everyone really quickly, and Jenny, who quickly became April's best friend. So I was on the outs already from the beginning. Oh, and how else did it suck? It sucked so much. I was a really good swimmer, but I was afraid of diving, so I wasn't allowed to swim in the deep end. I had to swim in the shallow end with the little kids. And we were a mile away from the mess hall. We were in the campsite called Outpost, which tells you everything you need to know. And it was awful, a mile for breakfast? That is so far. And I know you're all in Vermont and you're thinking, I don't understand why she's whining. It's summer camp. Vermont summer camps are lovely. Guys, let me say it again. Florida, July, camp. Do you know how many things bite and sting and hurt you in Florida? They were all living within 2 feet of me at all times. We were literally woken up at night by screams from girls walking back from the latrine, discovering a possum or an armadillo, or literally, I'm not kidding, one night, a coral snake right in front of my tent. Bad news. So I actually had plans. I was trying to break out, except for coral snakes, so I didn't do that. I was writing letters to my mom. I had a campaign, and I was writing a postcard a day saying, I hate this. Get me home. I don't want to be here. And she still has them. She thinks they're funny. So that really didn't work. It was just so bad. And then one of the last few days of camp, it was raining, and in our free period, we had to stay in the tent. We couldn't go anywhere or do anything during our free period, the fun time. And I was sitting there talking with the other girls in my tent, and Michelle, the really bubbly one who was friends with everyone, and she started talking. She's like, I'm the only African-American girl here, And there are all these girls at camp who keep talking about me behind my back, and I'm being bubbly and trying to like move on. And then this girl Jenny, who was in the other Jenny, who was friends with April now, Jenny starts talking about growing up in South Florida and having the KKK burn a cross on the synagogue where she goes. And April is talking about how she found out that she's probably moving out of the country in the next year, and their family actually moved to like Australia the next year. And I was like, maybe I'm not the only one who's having a hard time here. Maybe things are actually really kind of difficult for other people. It's like a moment. And then, the rain stopped and we had to walk the mile back to get the bug juice and the thing they called spaghetti, and that was over. But a few days later, I went home, suntanned, covered in bug bites, with a few pen pal names, and maybe a teeny, weeny shred of empathy and awareness that even though, like, at the beginning of puberty, everything sucks, life is horrible, but maybe I'm not alone. Maybe we're all in this together. That's my story. Thank you.